Now, in a minute, I'm going to be talking about cycling and some people that have very, very strong views about cycling and the dangers of cycling, and also motorists. Are you one of those people that they basically doesn't really notice or care for cyclists as much as they should, or do cyclists make you angry what they do? We want to get two sides of the story. Firstly, some text. Liam has texted, and he phoned in actually. Could you ask election candidates for their views on parental alienation? There's a motion going around with different councils calling for substantial and sustained dissatisfaction within the caregiver-child relationship associated with significant disturbance in functioning regarding the HSO, World Health Organization. Parental alienation causes serious harm and endangers children and young adults. And Donegal, Laois, Cavan, Galway, Louth, Kildare councils have already passed the motion. A nurse rang in to 051 846 123. She's stunned that the HSE has said that the student from Wuhan doesn't need to stay in isolation. If a virus can take 2 weeks to incubate, how does the HSE know that he doesn't have it? She hopes there are no adverse consequences from this. What do you think? Let us know. A number of people talking about our issues that we had on the animal cruelty and animal welfare. Caller says we need an education programme in schools to look after animals. Damien says, another texter, can you find out please when the Deise Animal Sanctuary shop is open? It's closed at present. She wants to know if the ladies can give the opening times. I'll try and find out that. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to ask them before we got that text. WhatsApp number 083 333 975. Damien, the North Quays, the runway, the Waterford Airport, the technology, the university, the hospital are not going to happen if we don't have a strong TD in Waterford. The same old story every time. I've lined out the main issues that we have to deal with. Another texter has texted in about her car being damaged. I was driving out around Kilbarry on Monday, a load of dogs running wild on the road. One dog ran full force into my car and caused €2,039 worth of damage. Nobody owned the dog that ran away. It's the same problem in other parts. Where are the dog wardens? If it was my dog, I'd be prosecuted. I am so angry that this is going on every day. I might try and see if that person will have a little chat with us later about this. Now, if you do hear our special song, Green Day, the holiday song, the song is actually called Holiday. Text in the word holiday to 083 333 975 if we do play it in this hour. That's part of our marvellous final week giveaway with Harvey Travel, Cork Airport and WLR. Now we're going to talk to Paul Smith and to his daughter Mia. Mia is a great cyclist and the issues of training in Ireland and cycling on the roads. Paul and Mia, good morning. Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Cyclist mad, I'd say the wife calls it. She's a...
What's your wife's name?
Leah. Her hair is torn out now with us. And I had
Special hello to Leah this morning for all your putting up with them.
Putting up with me. I suppose I'm a father of two lovely girls, me and Stella. I have Mia beside me. Two of them are racing. I race myself on the road bike.
How long are you into cycling? When did you start?
I cycled... First when I was 10, but when I used to live out in Cheekpoint, I used to cycle in from Cheekpoint to meet the old Waterford Racing Club that used to meet at the park at the big tree where the old track used to be. Used to cycle in the 8-9k there and go off and do an hour or two with them messing as a 10-11-year-old. But I sort of knocked that on the head when the soccer came in with John Grant and Park Rangers and Paddy and Dunmore and them all, so going from one to the other. So that was parked then for, Jesus, many a year, but it was only... when the recession hit us and I lost everything more or less, the wife said we have to get your bike to keep your head clear.
How did you lose everything? What business were you in?
It was fitting out construction, that's all. With the recession, with the boom, just everyone at my size just lost a fortune, you know. Not a fortune, but a fortune to me was my job. So Leah said we have to get your bike, keep you sane.
Because we hear about the recession and we hear about the stories and people then have different ways of trying to deal with it. So obviously financially you have to try and get yourself back on an even footing. And what are you working at present?
Oh, I'm in Teva Pharmaceuticals now, so it is.
So you changed career effectively.
Changed total career path.
And you felt you had to. But in the middle of the hurricane that was the recession, and a lot of people got very depressed. And a lot of people...
Damien, I won't lie now. Only for the two kids now, I probably wouldn't be here. Do you know, it was that raw, that horrible, and I'm not the only one. I'm a good story because I came out of it. So, and the wife as well was there right behind me the whole way through everything. So, yeah, it was hard, but look, what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. And like I said, only for the two little women, that's how it is then. So anyway, Leah said, right, come on, we have to get your bike, get you outside and just keep you sane.
I know. I see you're getting emotional about this because it's a tough thing to think about.
Yeah, I'm okay with it now.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know.
Mia, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
How old are you now?
I'm 13.
13. And so you were born just before the recession started. You were born in the good times. And tell us, how did you, or when did you start cycling, or how did you...
One day I saw Dad going out on the bike, and I just looked at him and I said I wanted to try it. And so then we got a small little racing bike, and then we did around the estate to get practice at.
How old were you then?
8 maybe.
8 or 9
8 or 9.
Yeah.
And then as I grew older, we kept on going out to the ring road, up and back. And then as I got more older, we go long distance, like out to Tramore,
I say Mia was 9 and Stella would have been 8, and they were cycling out to Tramore. And we were going out to Tramore, getting the ice cream and cycling back.
And you're living in town now?
We're living in town in Grange Manor now. So I say 9 or 10 it really kicked off, and then Mia would have come racing with me, and obviously then just started racing herself then at 10. But yeah.
And what do you like about it?
I like going full gas and trying to stay with the boys.
Is there a lovely buzz just freewheeling, just hitting the road, just getting a really good rhythm going?
Yeah, there is, because then you can stay in that rhythm for a long time and then you won't get distracted as much.
And the mind and the body as one on a machine, it's a beautiful symmetry when it happens.
Yeah, it is.
And how do you feel do you feel exhilarated? Do you feel joy, happiness?
It is very fun racing, and then you get tired at the end, but as long as you feel like you did good, it's great.
How many kilometres, how many miles would you do a week?
You be trained twice a week we do, don't we? And it depends on my shift work. So if I'm on evenings, obviously Neil do the hour Tuesday, Thursday, like they would with soccer trainer or whatever, but she'll do it at home and she'll just spin the legs and watch YouTube or whatever. But if I'm at home then, and I'll take her out, then she could spin the legs up to 2 hours if she wanted.
Wow.
So she could do
so how many hours a week?
Like she's probably 1, 2, maybe 4 hours a week training, and then a race, then come race season. Then so rule of thumb with the kids is they don't train more than their year's age, so we're well below that.
What do you like about the cycling?
Personally, the suffering that you have in a race. Yeah, it's hard to describe, because you're on your own. Even though you might race with a team of teammates, but you're on your own. So it's hard to describe until you're in it. Me personally, I love going full gas in a bunch, doing 60, 70 kilometres an hour, and you're rubbing one another. I get a thrill out of that, a rush out of that, whereas others wouldn't. Some might love a climb, whereas if I know there's a climb in the race, my head just completely stops. I just go out the back straight, and I admit it straight away. It's mad me weight, I should be climb good, but I don't. But I much prefer being in a bunch of 40, 50, 100 people rubbing shoulders, rubbing bars.
So you prefer to do the time trial in the Tour de France rather than the Pyrenees?
Oh, I wouldn't like it. I'd watch the Pyrenees all right with a few cans.
In terms of the headspace and in terms of the...
Huge. Like I explained earlier, just going out, there's so many people now, even running, whatever, but just the headspace. Even if you're on your own, you're just going out, and as I call it, some of us call it, you're just cycling the bike, spin the legs, looking at ditches. Just looking around you. Something different every 2 seconds is happening, either in the left or right in front of you, in the ditch or whatever. Dunmore Passage, we've the best coastline around out to Dunmore.
I remember talking to John Tracy, who had played football with him in the past, and he took up cycling in his 40s, and he just says it's just amazing, that feeling. Tell me about the dangers on the roads? Because we've had a lot of debates in the last 3 months in particular on this programme and in other radio stations about road usage, motorists and cyclists.
Yeah.
What's your view about it?
I says it to everyone, there's lunatics that walk, that drive, that run, that cycle. We're not going to get away from any of that. There's all sorts, but there's a perception out there that cyclists and lads running shouldn't be on the road. The horse, the cart and the bike were the first things on the road. Like, especially, we're adults and we're okay, but when we have Mia out, sometimes it do be frightening, but I'm with her, so I can sense the danger at roundabouts. Even if we might have the right of way, there's times you just have to stop, because it's not worth taking on a car that's not looking where they're going and their head is down on a phone. And it's like,
you can see it, like,
you see it, but I see it firsthand at traffic lights where pedestrians will just go straight across the road. They don't pay attention to the cars that have the right way. Like, why would you take on a car? I see it with cyclists that go through red lights. I think it's mind-boggling, especially in urban areas. It's stone mad. Like, I don't see why you want to take on a car going through a red light.
Mia, have you had any close calls? What do you think about cycling on roads?
It is dangerous, but as with Dad, I'm safe, because he'll like always sense things and then he'll tell me whether to stop or to keep on going and stuff.
Have you seen or come across close instances?
There's a few cars that like come really close and then they'll beep at us, but like we didn't do anything. It's just them coming close to us.
And how does it make you feel?
It is frightening, but I have Dad with me, so safe.
Yeah, we kind of when we are cycling, I'm always two abreast with her, right, because she's safe on my inside. Because if I'm going to ride behind her, or I can see her, which is grand, but that doesn't stop cars driving at 100 kilometres an hour on a back road out on the coast road and just not go on to the other side of the road to overtake us and just go straight past us. So, and if I'm in front of her, I can't see her. So that's a no-no, definitely. So I'll always stay side by side with her. And the reason we do that is to make cars slow down for the 10 seconds and come across it safely. Now, with the new law that has been brought out, I've noticed some difference in the last 3 weeks of cars slowing down. And that's all it takes is 10 seconds. And if we do get an opportunity to single file with a broken white line beside us, I'll do that, because I know it's a road that's safe for a car to pass. But if it's a straight line on a bend, I'm not going to encourage a car to come around, because they're not going to go on the other side of the road going around the bend in case a car's coming. That's a recipe for disaster, because there's going to be people killed in the car and we'll be killed on the road. So,
and how do you feel then when a motorist gets irate, or when they stick up their fingers at you, or they shout at you, or they beep? You're basically trying to say to them, I'm doing this for your good as well as our good.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to laugh at it. You know, I don't understand it at all.
Any bad, really bad instances?
I've been took out of that roundabout, all right, where I've had the right of way and going through. An example is the airport roundabout heading towards Kilcone, right? So I was coming down past Williamstown Golf Course, and when you're entering the roundabout, you'll come out into the middle of the lane, because you in a way you're the car. You're coming into a first, but a car came up the outside and just took me straight out to turn left to go towards the airport.
Did you crash?
Oh yeah, it took me clean out of it. I was out of action for 2 months with my knee because I was got badly infected.
Did they stop?
No, they just looked in the rear view mirror, a woman did, in a Jeep, and started laughing. The funny thing about it was a car behind her seen it and came up to me, and the poor woman came out with her shoulder, and she broke her collarbone from a bike crash, and she said she couldn't believe it. I could see the woman in the rear view mirror laughing at me. So that's what you're up against, and I did nothing wrong.
And there's no way of getting that registration number?
No, sure. Things like that happen in a blink of an eye.
It's horrible though.
Yeah, but
you could have been killed.
Yeah, but sure, look, I've had worse crashes in a race, you know, so like if I was to...
I know, but
if I was to give up after that, it's not an example I want to set for me 2 kids.
Mia, tell us about your hopes. Tell us about what you're aiming for.
I'm aiming to make the Irish team, and I was very close last year. I was only one place away from it. The Youth Olympics, and to go abroad with Munster.
So the Irish team would be competing obviously at international level.
Yeah.
And how do you get into that? What do you have to do now over the next few months to get into that?
Over the period of racing, people will watch you and see how well you do, and then they'll say that she's doing very well, she's winning these races and putting effort into training. They'll pick you to compete with girls coming from Wales, Scotland, England, everywhere.
Would you like to be a professional cyclist?
Yeah, I'd love it.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd absolutely love it.
Why?
It's just so fun going abroad and learning new skills and racing with bigger people in a bunch and learning and getting to know new friends and getting along with your teammates and everything.
What hopes do you have for your daughters?
I want them doing what I'm doing with their kids in 40 years.
People have been texting in. What happens though, just to go back to the group cycling thing, when you have a group of cyclists and there may be 3 abreast and cars want to pass or can't pass, do you get some cyclists that are arrogant?
Yeah. I've seen 2s and 3s and the R3 abreast, but...
Is it allowed 3 abreast?
Yeah, legally you can be 4 abreast once you're not on the other side of the lane, so I don't think they're doing that legally wrong, but they're not thinking of other traffic users, and I've come across it, you're even our group when we're all out together, if there's 20 of us, we are 2 abreast, but you would come across and you'd be saying, we'd have to say to ourselves, look at them, Jesus, but it's not our position to tell them the etiquette or tell them what to do. Just like if you were at a red light in the car and you see someone flying past it, you're not going to follow after them and say, hey, you broke the red light. Or a pedestrian depresses and doesn't wait for the green man and goes across. There's...
What would you have to say finally to any motorist that out there that does not understand cyclists?
I'll tell you a story. A good friend of mine, Derek Webb, he runs a cycling academy down in Gorey and he has a bunch of kids and they're absolutely magnificent. His son's only 12, came home with him one day from training, roaring and crying, saying he didn't want him or his daddy to go out on the road anymore because he's afraid of being killed. If there's a driver, a parent out there that has a kid that goes training to GAA in an enclosed area and came back roaring and crying and said that I don't want to go back, and you knew deep down that they love that, you'd be asking serious questions of why my child is coming home roaring and crying and not wanting to do something he loves.
Paul, continued safe cycling and
yeah.
happy cycling on the roads. Mia, congratulations. Continued cycling and the very, very best of luck to you in the coming year.
Thank you.
I really, really want to wish you the very best to yourself and your sister and to all your family, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Damien.
Now, keep your texts and comments coming in. Caller says he's no problem with genuine cyclists. It's the one who cycle on the footpaths and break the rules of the road that get up his nose. Lady said a woman rang to say she was just walking in Ballytruckle. 2 young fellas just passed her on their bikes. One was on his phone and the other has his hands in his pockets. Some text to our WhatsApp number. Damien, some roads are too narrow for cycling lanes. The Tremore Road, for example, is one. Damien, can I ask the question, please? What's the law about cycling against the traffic in a cycle lane? I notice it more and more around WIT. I think it's so dangerous. Thank you. I think it's illegal. I'm not sure. We'll check that with the Gardaí this morning. I'm not sure. Damien, sometime cycling on Irish roads is like being in a fight club with motorists very aggressive to us. I follow the rules of the road, but motorists don't. And then some other motorists have been in touch. Please ask cyclists to stop weaving in and out of cars and stop coming up to cars behind them. It's a mad act. They're going to get someone killed. Anne has texted in to say, I'm sick of people saying horses and carts were on the road before cars. They were not roads, they were dirt tracks. Car tax paid for a road, so let the cyclists contribute by taxing their bikes. They should also have to insure themselves. They're a menace on the road, 2 or 3 abreast. They've no respect for any drivers. And that's a very, very serious comment. We heard what Paul said. We heard what Mia said. Paul is a motorist as well. They have a lot of respect. So this idea that it's just one or the other, I don't know if you're 100% right on that. What do you think? Let us know, please. 083 333 975. We will read out more of your texts as we go through the programme. Deise Animal Sanctuary have been on to say the shop on the quay in Waterford opens Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m, Saturday, 11 to 5, closed on Sundays. Thank you very much for that. Damien, I'm a motorist and will admit some of them annoy me, but I'll say in their defence, most cyclists are sound. One of the busiest roads in the city have no bicycle lanes. If they cycle on the pathway, the pedestrians are complaining. Now, if you hear The Holiday song by Green Day. Text in the word holiday, HOLIDAY, to 083 3333 975, or you can phone 051 846 123. Thanks to Harvey Travel, Cork Airport and WLR. Listen out for our daily sizzling song played sometime between 7 and 6. One daily qualifier will go through the Friday's final on the Drive Time show with Aoibhinn Fallon. So if you get picked out today, it doesn't mean that you're the winner. It means that you go through with 3 others into the winning spinning wheel. And if your number is chosen, you answer a simple question, and then you might win a Mediterranean cruise. Now, holidays. Like to go on a holiday, lads?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. I wonder, did we play the Holiday song by Green Day? If we did play it, you can text in 083 3333 975, the word holiday, or you can phone 051 846 123. James from Polebury has just phoned in. He feeds 6 stray cats every day with a 2-litre carton of milk and a tin of fish every day. He's never seen so many cats around. He thinks it's the cold weather. Well, if I was a cat around Polebury, I'd be delighted. I'd be saying I'm heading to James's for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Fair play to you, James. We'll have to do a little piece with you. 6 stray cats every day. No wonder they're coming around. Fergus Carney, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks very much for inviting us in.
Irish Wheelchair Association. Georgina Kiley from Compact Project in Waterford. Good morning.
Good morning, Damien. How are you? And thanks again for having us.
Not at all, and thank you for coming in. We're going to talk for a few minutes about issues with CE supervisors who are caught in limbo. Fergus, can you explain what a CE supervisor is and how are they caught in limbo?
OK, thanks, Damien. A CE supervisor is a community employment supervisor. So we're grant-aided from the state to hire community employment participants to come and work on social projects or projects of good work, as you would term it. Some of the biggest projects in the state at the moment are operated and frontlined in many cases by community employment staff, such as the Irish Wheelchair Association, the Alzheimer's Association, and a few more in the caring sector. My job is to hire the people from the long-term unemployment register, take them in, train them accordingly to the Department of Social Protection standards, and also to provide a frontline service for the sponsoring organisations. So it's twofold, if you like, and we've been doing that for a number of years. I suppose the problem that we have, let's say, is that we applied, because we're state funded, for a pension some 18 years ago.
Okay.
And in 2008, we won a Labour Court recommendation to have that pension put into place. We have had Dáil votes come down on our side. We have had politicians promise us the sun, moon and stars, but to date we've had no actual finality to that.
OK. Georgina, tell us about the Compact project and this issue, how it affects ye.
Basically, Damien, we'd have, say, 36 at any given time participants, employees in the scheme. I'm based in Lady Lane. My office is in there. I have 15 participants in there, for instance. They're providing a service, say, the Meals on Wheels. We'd have drivers. We'd have ladies looking after the housekeeping. We'd have people preparing the meals every day. And then we'd also have people assisting with the service users. Also, then I'd have lots of parishes around the town, say, graveyards, the likes of that, people cutting the grass. Ballybricken, for instance, is one of them. I'd have St Paul's out as far as Butlerstown, out into Ballygunner. We're providing that kind of a service on a daily basis. The participants do their 19 and a half hours and they'll maintain, say, the properties or the churches. We'd also have ladies in the parish offices looking after the clerical end of it there. And then we'd also have participants in Enable Ireland. We've 6 participants there looking after the facilities, serving the customers, looking after the tills, you name it, basically retail sales.
We'll do a little bit for Facebook as well. Fergus Carney Irish Wheelchair Association. In 2008 there was a recommendation by the Labour Court and money was set aside for supervisors' pension claims, and yet it hasn't happened. That's correct.
The government allocated €10 million at the time, and that was signed off on. FOS were the statutory agency at the time. I suppose the economy took a nosedive. And in fairness, us and our unions and our members appreciated that. And we held back on this to 2014, 2015 really. And where we reignited our passion, if you like, in this to get our justified claim across the line. And many governments have come and gone. I would outline that, just to put this in perspective, I suppose, we're talking about 30 million retrospectively to pay out and 4 million annually going forward.
So 30 million will be the cost to the state to meet this demand.
That's right.
Do you think that's excessive?
No, I don't. If we take, in 2013, I think it was, the pension of the then FÁS and the academic institutes across the country, including the universities, were in pretty bad trouble. And the DPAR minister at the time, I believe, was Brendan Howlin. Rory Quinn was in education, but they signed off a package of up to $500 million to bail out that sector. And we justify accept that. People are bonded with their pensions and the state has to underwrite them. But we think ours is a way less claim and it has legal backing.
And it's only 30 million in that respect, 4 million a year. Georgina Kiley, compact project in Waterford, Meals on Wheels, maintaining graveyards, etc. How would this help your members, your employees, if you want to put it like that? I know they're not your employees, but how would it help those that are working with you?
I suppose for me, myself, even on a daily basis, it'll give me peace of mind. Like, we're on an annual contract every year, so that at least then that I could have the know-all that at the end of the day that I have a contract for another, indefinitely we'll say, or whatever, that if I had a permanent contract going forward, that then I could feed it back to the participants as well.
So it's peace of mind as well as money?
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah, absolutely. It's job security, I suppose, Damien, at the end of the day is what we're looking for as well.
Have any governments actually, have any of the politicians said that they're going to take this on board, that they're actually going to do something?
David Cullinane is the only one who has committed. Lots of others have said that they intend to. Lots of others have been in government and said they nearly got it across their desk. They must have very big desks, lots of them.
And how many people across the country are affected by this, would you think?
So there are 1,300 supervisors nationally.
Okay.
They provide frontline services in every county in Ireland. In the Irish Wheelchair Association, we have something in the region of 380 community employment staff that we manage. And that would be mirrored in many other voluntary sectors across the way too.
So, Georgina, this idea of being caught in a trap, to coin a song, caught in limbo, it must be frustrating, is it?
Absolutely. There's no end to it. I mean, as Fergus said, since 2008, it's been going on even before that. Mm-hmm. That, like, it's just every Monday morning you come in, right, you have a job for 12 months at any given time. For instance, my scheme rolls over now in March. We have approval for the next scheme going forward, but we'll be back applying again now next year for the scheme, which is fine. But even for me personally, like, it's degrading, I suppose, Damien, to have to apply for your job every 12 months.
And do you understand any rationale why they're doing it?
There is a rumour of contagion, that awful word Pascal Donoghue, I think it was, used as if it were a disease of sorts or whatever. But the thing is that we have the Labour Court recommendation. Our case is unique to ourselves. It's a small amount of money in the greater scheme of things. And one point I would make, Damien, if I could, a lot of people like to be associated with the name and the brand community. Politicians, senior executives in charitable organisations, the city and county councils would be another example that use these day in, day out. We've been kind of airbrushed, I suppose, out of that over the last 18 and certainly the last 12 years since the recommendation. We intend very much to paint ourselves back into it. We're the ones who lead and run this thing, and we feel it's time now for people to own up.
What are you going to do?
Well, tomorrow, for instance, there's, as everyone knows, the new bridge has been opened down in New Ross. We're protesting there. Over the next few weeks, we have balloted for strike action, we'll say, there recently as well. So it's that'll be coming down the track. There's 24, 48 and 72 hours. So going forward, that's what we're intending doing.
And will this strike action affect the services?
We hope to limit the effect of what we do, but we are realistic in that we've got to get serious about this. We had a one-day strike last year. In fairness to our union and our members, we had put forward a 7-day strike. We stepped back on that when there was goodwill coming from the department, we thought. They led us along, they called an election, and they laughed at us, basically. So, yes, there will be an effect vis-à-vis the IT systems. There will definitely be an effect around the management of people on the ground, I suppose, but that's unavoidable at this stage.
And in a way, strike action is not going to become noticed by the public or by the politicians unless it has some sort of knock-on effect.
That's it.
Absolutely, but the other side of it as well, I've met with my sponsors as late as this morning and we've discussed it, and they'll say straight out to everyone that basically a good supervisor is the bedrock of any scheme, and that if we're not there to provide the frontline services, that they're in total agreement that if the services have to suffer, that so be it, that they want us to get our pension.
Somebody has phoned in to say, do you look after old graveyards, Newcastle and Kilmeaden?
Not at the minute anyway, not to my knowledge anyway.
It's growing wild, needs attention, a caller rang in to say. As a Dáil debate, says this texter, a Dáil debate in January 2019, Leo Varadkar claimed it would be very unusual for the government to reject a Labour Court recommendation. I have for 10 years, they've ignored this recommendation in relation to supervisors, says this texter. Continued action undermines both the Labour Court and, in this case, the work of CE supervisors. Continued inaction, I suppose. Damien, it's a disgrace that after having been awarded a Labour Court 11 years ago, Fine Gael haven't put any sort of furtherance on this, and basically this person is saying that Pat is saying that after many years' service to retire without a pension is disgraceful. It's an issue that is very live. It's affecting people. It's very, very simple in some respect to understand, and you've explained it very well. I have a feeling we're going to be talking to you again. I
hope so in one way, but I hope it's on happier terms, Damien. That's being honest. You know? You've
no government in there now, effectively. Well, the government stays in until the new government is formed.
Yeah.
Can you see any government making a move on this in the next couple of months?
Well, unfortunately, we've taken it to a stage of lobbying people is almost exhausted at this stage.
Yeah.
And we are coming to a place, we had 92% thereabouts support for our industrial action, that we probably have to do something rather than just talks. Talks are wonderful and they avoid situations. But 12 years of talks is quite exhausting now, you know.
Georgina and Fergus, well done on your excellent interview this morning, says Geraldine from Dungarvan, and it's a very, very important issue. No pension, no vote. Georgina, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks very much.
Fergus, thanks very much for coming in.
Damien, really
best of luck with it, and we'll talk to you again soon, OK?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Lots of texts coming in. Damien, don't get me started about cyclists, but would you please stop saying getting kilt on the road? I think killed is, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't say my name out. I don't know if I said kilt. I don't normally say that. Thank you everybody for texting in the word holiday. We are going to be talking to a man in a second who is going to be on the line in a second and is our winner of our holiday, I suppose, entry for today. I'll be talking to this person in a second. Literally hundreds of texts and WhatsApp messages and calls into our systems. Firstly, a few of your texts and comments. Damien, the work of CE supervisors is invaluable to the community and deserve a pension. I myself was one. However, I had to leave my position as I would never have had a permanent contract either, so I couldn't get a mortgage. Fair play to Fergus and Georgina. It's about time the government honoured the Labour Relations Committee. Another person texted in to say, Damien, well done to both Georgina and Fergus for highlighting this pension issue. This is very, very important for CE supervisors. Other people have texted in, Damien, thanks for highlighting the important issue of the plight of the CE supervisors. They have been ignored and are being ignored once again. I watched a supervisor walk away after 24 hours with just a single phone call of thanks. A shame and disrespect of this man who gave a third of his life to the communities. This is now a common trend, and it has to be addressed. Thank you. And that is from John in Mid-Waterford. Now, I think we're going to go to Michael. Are you on the line there, Michael?
Yes, I am, Damien. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Michael Walsh in Passage East. Are you in Passage? Are you on the ferry, or where are you at the minute, Mick?
I'm actually at home this morning, and I'm working at 1 o'clock aboard the Passage East car ferry. So I was saying to Julie when I entered the competition, I've been cruising over and back the river for a long time, but I've never actually went on a cruise, which would be fantastic to get to go on one.
Listen, I didn't pick out these. These are picked out in a different way by the computer via Audrey. So if anybody's saying, oh, I live in Passage and I know Michael, I do know Michael, but I saw his name come out, and as surprised as anybody. Did you ever get picked out for anything in the past before like this?
I'm an avid listener to WLR and I enter all the competitions. So I actually won a Deise about 6 months ago, and I give it great use around the house now. To be honest, we don't even have to turn it on. A change of scenery around the Mediterranean, it would be fantastic rather than going between Passage and Ballyack. So. Yeah,
it would, wouldn't it? It's actually funny that you work on the ferry and that you've got this chance of winning the cruise. The cruise is the last of the holidays to be given out, a fabulous Mediterranean cruise, courtesy of Harvey Travel and Cork Airport and WLR. Have you ever been on a cruise before?
Once, I would tell a lie, I was once on my honeymoon, but we could relive our honeymoon, I suppose. if we got the cruise, it'd be fantastic.
You could certainly, yeah. So what is, Michael, is you're in the final now as such. So there's going to be 4 people and you're a qualifier. So 4 people will go into the competition on Friday. So you'll have to make sure that you're available on Friday if that's okay at a certain time. You're going to be going on Aoibhinn Fallon's Drive Time show and with 3 others. And you're going to be spinning this marvellous spinning wheel, and if your number is chosen, that you're going to have to answer a simple question, and if you answer that simple question, you will be sailing off on a Mediterranean cruise. It'd be something else, wouldn't it?
Thank you ever so much.
It'd be something else. It'd be absolutely amazing. So listen, let's see how it goes. Mick, do you want to say hello to anybody or say...
Just all my friends and family, and I suppose to everyone who comes over and back across the Passage Star Ferry, and just to... safe home to everyone coming back this evening after 1 o'clock.
Listen, the very best of luck to you, Michael, and to everybody involved in the draw.
Thanks very much, Love the show. Take care.
Thanks very much, Mick. All the best. Take it easy. Michael Walsh there from Passage East, who is one of our finalists, and congratulations to him. And thanks to Harvey Travel. Thanks to Cork Airport for that great prize. So yesterday was Katrina in the Waves. Today is Holiday by Green Day. So we've played our song, and tomorrow we will have another song, and another song then on Thursday. Will be on one of the shows. Damien, I have the pleasure of knowing these CE supervisors. They're amazing people and the work they do is fantastic. They're completely taken for granted. Just give them what they deserve. That's from Deirdre in Waterford. Helen Walsh, a supervisor, has said, I echo everything the 2 supervisors are saying. We have put our schemes first. Now we have to put ourselves first. And that is from Helen. Damien, all us CE supervisors are looking for, all we're looking for, is for the government to honour the LCR. That's the Labour Court recommendation. Damien, it's a disgrace that the Labour Court recommendation of 11 years ago still hasn't been ordered. And this person criticises Fine Gael's Pascal O'Donoghue, who says he puts great store in the operation of the state, but reneges on a so-called cornerstone regarding CE supervisors. Another person on the cycling issue. Damien, I was driving the back road to Tramore recently up the 2 big hills by Balnamona. There were 2 cyclists side by side. I obviously couldn't overtake on the dangerous road when the cyclist then started to struggle and wobble near the top and fell straight out onto the road. Easily could have been hit if a car had come up the other side. So very, very dangerous. Damien, cyclists think they own the road, while there are cyclists who are respectful, some are not. It's they who give many finger signals, especially on the byroads. I wonder what sort of finger signals would you be talking about? John in Mid-Waterford has called in to say that the supervisors deserve that they do get their right entitlement. Another person has said, any cyclist who wants to get insurance, you can pay for cycling insurance through Cycling Ireland. Bill in Ferrybank has phoned in to say and texted, the basic rule of the road is for cyclists no more than 2 abreast. I'm surprised that man didn't know. I'm a cyclist as well. Councillor Joe Kelly has texted in, Damien, my worry about cyclists are the ones who cycle in the dark with dark clothing and very often no lights. It's madness and very dangerous. If a motorist hits one, the motorist will have to pay all the costs and carry the regrets even though it wasn't his or her fault. Damien, cyclists are given the 3-foot distance by drivers. But when you see cyclists 3 or 5 abreast, do they expect a driver to stray onto the other side of the road to give them safe passage? Cyclists in this case are very unfair. They have to come across as safety practitioners, but if an accident's happened, the car will always come out on top. Damien, anyone wanting to begin cycling should look up axacommunitybikerides.com. It's cycling for beginners from Cycling Ireland. That's from Declan. So axacommunitybikerides.com. Damien is one who drives a huge chunk of East Waterford daily. My 2 cents on cyclists. Just like motorists, there are good and bad cyclists. The difference is that motors can be identified and insured. Secondly, the amount of cycling and cycles on footpaths, especially on Johns Hill area, is incredible. Travelling at high speed, going downhill, no regard for pedestrians or cars exiting the entrances. I myself have had 2 close calls on footpaths, and calls to the Gardaí go unnoticed. Someone needs to be done, and something needs to be done before somebody is killed. And that is from Eamon. Other people calling about the interview with Ain 2 earlier on. Another CE supervisor in the West who covers 10 GAA clubs, and this person says that they deserve basically to get what they are looking for. Number of texts coming in. Cycle flow by Shefflin's in Waterford City is contraflow. Another person saying Maria's daughter lived in Switzerland for 2 years and had to leave for tax and insurance on her bike. Other people are saying it cost €50 for a year in Switzerland for tax and insurance. It made cyclists more responsible and careful on the roads. Now, thank you everybody for your texts and comments this morning. Thank you, Julie, for producing. Jeff is up next from our Dungarvan studio. Thanks to Sinead and everybody on news for your help as well today. We are going to be back tomorrow. Maria's stepping in for the day. I have to go and do something else for the day. Thank you everybody for entering the competition. Marvellous response. Thanks to Harvey Travel and Cork Airport. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow or even Thursday.